Hello everyone, it's Zara. I wanted to talk to you all today about what I have personally been going through over the past little while. I wanted to share my experience because a lot of people have been sending me messages asking me about what happened, and I haven't actually been talking about it. And the reason I haven't been talking about it is because that's what I've learned. I've learned that when you're in the midst of a situation that has you all wound up, that is not the time to talk about it. You need to calm down. Then you need to do the work to go up the emotional scale. And once you're high up on the emotional scale, you've got the wobble out of your system and you're stable again. That's when you talk about what happened. Because first of all, as you go up the emotional scale, your perspective changes. And when your perspective changes, you tell a completely different story than you would otherwise. So, let me tell you what created contrast in my life. First of all, what created contrast for me was the fact that one day I received a message from YouTube saying that Abraham Hicks had requested that my channel be shut down, and that I had 10 days to resolve my differences with Abraham Hicks, otherwise that is what would happen. So, of course, I wrote to Abraham Hicks Publications. I did not receive a reply. I wrote to them again, and again I did not receive a reply. And then I wrote to Esther, as well as her daughter Tracy, but I did not receive a reply. My question was, what am I doing that has you in a knot that you need to take such severe action? And I didn't get any response to it. So in the end, I was not able to provide YouTube with satisfactory information. I was not able to resolve whatever difference Abraham Hicks thought I had with them, because I don't think I was doing anything else that any other channel was not doing. In fact, I've been publishing Abraham videos for the past, I don't even know how many years. Many years. I had more than 60,000 subscribers and more than 3,000 videos on my YouTube channel. I didn't care if they took my YouTube channel down, because I never thought that that material belonged to me. I always thought that the material I was publishing was Abraham Hicks's material, and I was publishing it because I loved Abraham Hicks, because of what I learned from Abraham that actually helped me completely change my life. What I was upset about was the fact that because of Abraham Hicks's action, all my YouTube channels were taken down, including the ones that had my copyrighted material, my webinars, and the videos that I had created teaching what I knew of the law of attraction. To me, that was very upsetting. It's almost like your mother or your closest friend or your partner does something to you that you never expected them to do. So that's how I felt about this whole event, and that was the reason why I did not wish to talk about it. But I worked on it. First of all, I thought about it, and I thought, if I'm attracting this, because I am attracting this, then what have I done because of which I have attracted this? And then my next question was, how come Abraham Hicks Publication is meeting me on this vibration, because this is not a very high vibration? So first of all, I must be on a very low vibration to attract this event. And secondly, Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks, because she owns the company, she must be in a very low place to attract this event, because like attracts like. That is what Abraham teaches, and we came together in a place that I did not expect. At least I did not expect from Abraham Hicks Publications or Esther. I'm not going to go into what their reasons are, because you know what? I don't know. And as Abraham has taught me, why should I care? What I should care about is, how did I come about to meet them there? And what am I going to do about changing that? So that is what I've been working on for the past 4 months. The immediate answer, so when I asked Abraham that question, why did this happen? The answer was that it was time for me. That was my path of least resistance. And the reason it was my path of least resistance was because I needed to deviate from what I was doing for Abraham. It was no longer my job to promote Abraham, because in reality, that is what I had been doing for a very long time. I had been promoting Abraham, yet along the way, I had sharpened my own skills. I had become a teacher on my own, of my own standing, and develop my own method of teaching the law of attraction, which of course, if you're familiar with my work, my books Thrive, which has over 40 illustrations that teach the law of attraction in a visual way, takes Abraham's teachings to a completely different level. My book Manifesting Mistakes, which really boils down everything as to why people who are wanting to get results are not getting them, and Unlimited, the 40-day workout. I have produced that work. It's my original work, which I have flowed. I have not thought about it. I have channeled it from Abraham themselves. And so I am a teacher, and therefore there is no need for me to propagate Abraham. It's time for me to stop using up all my time showcasing Abraham and instead stand on my own feet. And it would not have happened if this had not happened, because I always thought a couple of things that were actually blocking me. So for me, it boiled down to knowing my own value and knowing that I can teach and I am a powerful teacher. If Abraham hadn't jolted me with this, I wouldn't have recognized that. I would have kept going the way I was going before. So I'm actually really grateful to Abraham for taking me through this, which is my path of least resistance, which has made me realize that I must have had some big blockages that were preventing me from standing up and as a teacher in my own right. And this spotlight that Abraham shone on where I was has made me realize that I need to do something about it. It has made me realize that I do have value. I have a lot of people who are following me. I have a lot of people who hear me and enjoy the way I teach law of attraction. And it's time for me to do more of what I know how to do instead of hiding behind Abraham, which is what I was doing all this time. I was hiding behind Abraham, and I no longer need to hide behind Abraham. And for that, I actually am grateful to Abraham Hicks. So what I want you to learn from my experience is how to handle contrast when you're in that extreme situation. So I was in an extreme situation. It destroyed me completely for a couple of days. And I kept asking the question, why is this happening? But I had to let go the question before I got the answer. And the answer was, this is my next step. This is the direction I need to go. And there was no other way that I could have realize that it's time for me to stop spending time propagating Abraham, because that's what I was doing. Every night I would sit for a couple of hours making Abraham YouTubes, making quotes, listening and transcribing videos, and that took up all my time. And when this channel went away, all my channels went away, the question was, I was talking to a friend and I said to her, you know what, I certainly now have so much time. And it's time for me to use this opening and make something more out of it. So the first thing I want you to understand is when you're in the midst of that extreme conflict, do not talk to anyone about it, because your perspective at that time, my perspective at that time, was of anger and revenge. And had I gone down the revenge route, I could have taken legal action to say, what gives you the right to take down my proprietary material, my webinars. What gives you the right to do that? But I did not, because I realized that that would just be a rabbit hole, as Abraham describes it, that would just keep going on. And if I went that route, my frustration would never have ended. And what you need to do is you need to calm down, give up the frustration so that you can keep moving to the next step. So my first advice to you, based on what has just happened to me, is do not act when you're in the middle of that. And there's an analogy that I use when I'm teaching, where I tell people you don't try and fix the brakes when you're in the car traveling 100 miles an hour. You cannot do that. You either check the brakes before you get into the car, or when you're in the middle of that experience, try and do whatever you can to stop the car. And once you stop the car, that's when you do the vibrational work to fix the brakes. So that's the one thing I want you to learn from this, that I have been reinforced with. And then the other thing I want you to hear from this is, when sometimes we don't know that we have blockages. We don't know that we have beliefs that are keeping us from the next step in our journey. And that's when something totally off happens, because that is the only way for the universe to lead you where you really need to go. So did I always want to be a teacher? Yes. Did I want to build more and add more value to the work that I'm doing and bring more value to other people? Absolutely. Would I have done it if I had not freed up all this time? No, I wouldn't have. So over the past 4 months, I have learned so much more about how to publish material, and I'm in the middle of creating a course that is absolutely going to be amazing in the way that it takes people step by step in order for them to be able to manifest the things that they want to manifest. And I'm working on that just now. So the other thing that I've learned is that you just have to say yes. You have to say yes to whatever is coming. If you dig your heels in, then you never find out what you're heading for. So now, because of this, I have a completely new direction. I have amazing things that are bubbling up and waiting to happen that I would never have paid attention to, even though they were at the back of my mind. Now they're not at the back of my mind, they're right up in front. So that's fantastic. And lastly, I want to share with you that contrast happens to everyone. Contrast happened to Esther Hicks. That is why she did what she did to me. So she is not divorced from contrast, even though she flows Abraham, but she has her moments. And she must have had an extreme feeling of lack to go after a tiny little YouTube channel like myself, who is nowhere in comparison to where Abraham Hicks Publications is and what they've built, but they felt the need to go and attack me, which tells me where they are on the emotional scale. And I wish them well, because I've learned a lot from them. But that learning is nevertheless there. Everyone experiences contrast, but it's about how you handle contrast. They could have handled it differently as well. They could have responded to my emails. They could have told me what they wanted me to change, and I would have done so because I love them so much. And that brings me to the next thing. Should I now stop loving Abraham because of what has happened? Absolutely not. Because I understand that Abraham comes from a pure place, and I love them and they love me. I am going to the Chicago workshop, and I am going to enjoy myself while I'm there. So if I had withdrawn that love, I would have become conditional. And I have to say, Abraham Hicks did become conditional. I can't say how they're working their way through it. It's not for me to comment, but there's a learning there for me. And the learning is, when you don't become conditional, when you are able to be unconditional, you come away feeling so good. You come away knowing your greatness. You come away having a future path that is beckoning you, that is wonderful, and you feel the tingles all over you because you know that you're aligned with source when you look at that path. So that's what I've come away with, because I was able to resolve that conflict and bring myself back to a place of being unconditional. So contrast happens to everyone. It's how we deal with that contrast that makes the difference. And that brings me to what I always talk about. It's always about the 6 thinking choices. We have 6 thinking choices. We have the choice to be past negative, now negative, future negative, past positive, now positive, or future positive. So in my case, I could have gone past negative and said, oh yeah, sure, I remember, and I did remember, that when I first started my YouTube channel, something similar had happened with another YouTuber who actually got into the hot seat at one of Abraham's workshops and asked Abraham this question: why did you take my channel down? So that's one thing. I could have gone now negative, saying, okay, I just hate Abraham and I don't want anything to do with them. Or I could have gone future negative and said, it's never going to change. Abraham Hicks this is what they really are, and they're never going to change. And all of those would have been negative. I did not do that. Instead, what I did was I asked myself, if this is happening to me, there is value to me in this contrast. What is that value? And when I asked the question that way, I got the answer right away. And the answer is, I have to do my own thing. I have to teach my teachings instead of teaching Abraham's. So with that, I went past positive. Abraham Hicks changed my life. I can never forget what I've learned from them. My life is different. I discovered myself because of following Abraham. So past positive, now positive. There's something in this for me. What is it? Show me the next step, universe. And the universe did that. Universe showed me the next step. Future positive. I am going to create something amazing out of this. And I can feel it, and I know it's coming, and it's going to be beautiful, and I am going to share it with you all. So the 6 thinking choices are important, and they determine how we think and what we do. And it's always the emotion that lets you know that there's contrast. So I had that overwhelming, huge, big emotion that made me focus or refocus myself, think differently about what was going on. And then that emotion raises a question: how are you going to think? What is going to be your thinking response? And once you find out what your thinking response is going to be, then the next step is taking action. So I have taken action. That is why I'm here. And it feels good, because all of that negative momentum that I felt in October is all gone now. I've decided I will not be posting Abraham videos anymore. I will be listening to Abraham because I love Abraham. And instead, I will put in more time and effort into building my YouTube channel with the diagrams that are so helpful to so many people for understanding the law of attraction. And you all have the link. If you don't, my new channel is called Understanding Law of Attraction with Zara, and I will be posting the link to it for you as well if you don't have it. And over the next period of time, next couple of weeks, I am going to be releasing weekly videos here on Facebook as well as on my YouTube, to build up my channel and to bring to you my spin on what law of attraction is and how it works. So that's really all I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm just going to check quickly to see if there are any questions in the comments. Thank you, honey. Thank you, Sylvia. Love you all and look forward to connecting with you, staying in touch with you over YouTube and Facebook and through my blog. So go visit my blog, ZMAHOON.com. And if you haven't already got the free book that it's on there, go grab that book, because it really does lay a very firm foundation for the law of attraction. And stay tuned, because I'm developing another a course that is going to be available for all of you for free. So love you lots, and have a fabulous rest of the day. Bye for now.